Visceral fat isn't just belly fat. It's the fat that wraps around your organs, clogs your liver, and quietly drives inflammation, insulin resistance, and disease. It's not enough to know what you have to eat. You also have to know what you must avoid to get rid of it. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 7 foods you need to eat if you want to lose the visceral fat. And also I'm going to show you what to eat instead. By the way, my name is Dango. I've been a fitness coach for 20 plus years. I've owned a gym for over a decade, sold that in 2018. Since then, I've been helping high achieving entrepreneurs and business owners transform their bodies while getting rid of the visceral fat with ease and minimal stress. So let's get into it. So subcutaneous fat is the fat that you can pinch, while visceral fat is the fat that's stored around your organs, silently killing you. It's deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your liver, intestines, and pancreas. And it's not just there, it's quite active. It secretes inflammatory cytokines into your bloodstream, spiking cortisol and driving insulin resistance. And having too much in your body puts you at a higher risk for heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and even dementia. And also it makes you dumber. It restricts blood flow to the areas of the brain known for memory and emotional control. And the good news is that you can eliminate this visceral fat not just with the foods you eat, but also with the foods you avoid. In fact, we helped our client Soren eliminate dangerous levels of visceral fat from his body by eliminating these specific foods. So let's start with the one thing that makes visceral fat the worst. And that, my friend, is alcohol. Most people think alcohol is just empty calories, and they're wrong. Think of alcohol as a metabolic roadblock. When you drink, your body stops burning fat to process the alcohol. That means everything else you ate gets stored usually around your belly. Even moderate drinking has been linked to higher levels of visceral fat, and it gets worse. Alcohol increases cortisol, which directly promotes belly fat storage. When we started helping Soren eliminate his visceral fat, the very first thing we focused on was the elimination of alcohol. We didn't necessarily have him quit it forever, but until we got his body metabolically healthy and his visceral fat levels down, we decided it was best to avoid it, and it was one of the best decisions ever. So if you want to lose the visceral fat and also the gut, cut the booze, you won't regret it. Now, the second food to avoid if you want to get rid of visceral fat is going to be fried foods. And this one kind of sucks for me because I'll tell you right now, fried chicken is one of my favorite foods on the planet.
Move over, KFC. It's KFC tenders.
But when oil gets soaked into your food, it triples your calories and injects unhealthy fats into your cells. Fried foods often contain trans fats, which are created during high heat cooking and has been shown to cause inflammation and visceral fat gain. Add in acrylamides, which are chemicals formed when frying potatoes, and you've got a fat-promoting, inflammation-boosting, ticking bomb. So for Soren, we avoided all forms of frying and opted instead for baked, air-fried, or sauteed in olive oil when it came to his foods. Now, the next food to avoid if you're trying to lose the visceral fat is gonna be sugary foods. And I'm talking cookies, cakes, candies, and even cereal. If it's sweet, soft, and it comes in a box, it most likely feeds your visceral fat. And something you have to understand is that sugar spikes insulin and insulin stores fat. Fructose in particular goes straight to the liver where it gets converted into visceral fat. And the worst part about eating these foods is that they won't even fill you up. So you're going to keep on eating and eating and eating until you feel that existential shame that screams at you to stop. A good rule we used for our client Soren was that if a food had more than 5 grams of added sugar per serving, we completely ditched it. Now, this was a little bit difficult for Soren because he did have a sweet tooth, so an easy swap that we used was instead of eating those sugary foods, we ate a piece of fruit instead. And the fruit that we ate was blueberries because they have been shown to be a net positive when it comes to your gut health, specifically removing visceral fat. Now, the next food we want to avoid is going to be refined carbohydrates. I'm talking white bread, pasta, crackers, and processed snacks. Refined carbohydrates digest super fast, spiking blood sugar and leading to crashes right afterwards. Especially when you combine refined carbohydrates with fats, this combo triggers fat storage, especially in the abdomen, increasing your cravings. And also, because of the lack of fiber, you get no fullness when you eat these types of foods. So for Soren, we opted for things like oats, lentils, quinoa. And he did love bread, so we switched from white bread to sourdough. And foods like these will give you the bigger bang for buck when it comes to beating visceral fat, and they'll also help you keep more full than the foods that we mentioned above. Now, the next food is not a food per se, but it's one of the first steps I had to take to drop the fat, and it is sugary sodas. And this one is a non-negotiable. Soda is like liquid visceral fat in a can. Fructose from soda bypasses your fullness signals and floods your liver where it's turned into fat. Studies show a direct link between sugary drinks and abdominal obesity, even when calories are matched. One of the best things we did with Soren was replacing the soda with sparkling water or water with lime, and one of the best drinks to add for removing visceral fat was green tea. Green tea contains ECGC, which has catechins that have been shown to specifically target visceral fat removal. Now, along with avoiding sugary sodas, you probably want to avoid the next type of food, which is fast food. Now, fast food is hyperpalatable, ultra-processed, low in nutrients, and high in calories. This is not even mentioning the fact that they are high in BPAs as well as phthalates and microplastics. Most fast foods are a cocktail of refined carbs, bad fats, fried foods, added sugars, and sodium. And all of these light up your dopamine system like a slot machine, leaving you craving for more. Regular fast food intake is a surefire way to increase visceral fat and ruin your metabolic health. And for Soren, he was ordering on Uber Eats and DoorDash, and we set up a simple meal service for him that actually came out to be cheaper than him ordering out and was also 10 times healthier. And I know some people in the comments are going to ask, okay, so what meal service did we use? The easiest way to do this is to go on Google and to search for your local city and meal prep, both of those words, and then just find the ones that give you the calories and macros. I would still test out these meal prep services to make sure that they're making food that you actually like to eat. And the final food that you want to avoid, especially if you want to lose visceral fat, is going to be processed meats. This includes bacon, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats. These are loaded with saturated fat, sodium preservatives, and nitrates. They just don't increase visceral fat, they inflame your body, damage your gut, and increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. So instead of eating processed meats, we had Soren swap them out for lean, unprocessed protein sources like eggs, chicken, and wild-caught fish. And here's a bonus. As you are avoiding these foods, another thing that you want to avoid is late night eating. You see, Soren had an issue with nighttime eating, and if there's anything that you know about late night eating, it's that it has been shown to throw off your circadian rhythm, reducing your insulin sensitivity, and increasing fat storage, especially visceral fat. And let's be honest, most late night snacks are processed snacks, sweets, and alcohols. Also, right before you go to sleep, that's one of the worst times to eat because it will impair your sleep quality and has been shown to lead to an increase of nighttime wake-ups by 44%. In general, sleep is the lead domino where all great things come from. If you have shitty sleep, you're going to have a worse appetite and also worse hunger the next day. So for Soren, we set a hard stop for all his meals to at least be 3 hours before bed. No munchies or secret snacks. This alone helped him improve his sleep quality while eliminating the visceral fat. Now, these foods I just mentioned, especially when eaten in excess, will fuel inflammation, hormone dysfunction, fat storage, and also visceral fat gain, especially around your organs. But something I have to say is that your diet does not have to be perfect for you to lose visceral fat. What you have to focus on is getting the vast majority of your calories to come from whole, single ingredient, nutrient-dense sources. And this isn't about restriction, it's about removing the blockers and creating an environment where your body can finally burn fat the way it's designed to. And I created a free guide on the exact protocol we use to help our clients eliminate visceral fat. Comment lean below and I'll send it to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.